Imagine killing someone over salt. That happened. In fact, entire wars were fought because of this simple white crystal. But for most of human history, this same white mineral was worth more than gold. Fought over, taxed, smuggled, and guarded like treasure. Wars were started over it, empires were funded by it, and one tax on it helped trigger a revolution that changed the world. Before refrigeration, salt wasn't a seasoning, it was survival. It was the only reliable way to preserve meat and fish for months at a time. The difference between a village surviving winter or starving through it. But usable salt deposits were rare and often controlled by whoever happened to own the land above them. That scarcity turned salt into one of the most guarded resources on Earth. Mines were sealed, routes were taxed, and entire economies were built around controlling it. The Romans understood this better than almost anyone. They built entire roads just to move it. The Via Salaria, the Salt Road, carried it from coastal salt works all the way to Rome, and Roman soldiers were sometimes paid partly in salt itself. Some historians believe this is where the word salary actually comes from. Salarium, tied directly to salt. Whether or not that's exactly true, the connection between salt and wages was very real, and Rome's appetite for it never stopped growing. Far south in West Africa, salt was so valuable it was traded pound for pound with gold. Massive camel caravans crossed the Sahara carrying slabs of rock salt from mines like Taghaza, trading them in cities like Timbuktu for equal weights of gold dust. For the empires of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, this salt-for-gold trade became one of the primary foundations of their extraordinary wealth. By the 1700s in France, salt had become something else entirely, a tool of government control. The Gabelle, a brutal salt tax, forced every French household to buy a fixed amount of heavily taxed salt each year, whether they needed it or not. Smuggling salt to avoid the tax became so widespread that a whole underground economy of fauxonniers, salt smugglers, emerged, risking prison. Resentment over the Gabelle became one of the many grievances that fueled public anger in the years leading up to the French Revolution. Salt taxes didn't stay in the past. In 1930, one of the most famous acts of peaceful resistance in modern history was aimed directly at Mahatma Gandhi led thousands on the Salt March, walking over 240 miles to the sea in protest of Britain's colonial monopoly on Indian salt production. When they arrived, Gandhi simply reached down and picked up a handful of natural sea salt. A quiet, deliberate act of defiance against an empire. That single handful of salt became one of the most powerful symbols in the movement toward Indian. Today, salt costs almost nothing. Industrial mining and refining made it one of the cheapest minerals on Earth. A mineral that once funded empires, paid soldiers, sparked revolutions, and helped free a nation, now sits forgotten in a shaker on every table. The next time you reach for the salt, remember, people once crossed deserts, paid soldiers, and marched to the sea, all for that same small crystal.